Good evening and welcome to Dice and Bolts. I ain't going to turn around and look outside because I know it's still gorgeous outside. Welcome to Dice and Bolts, where I take a look at the core dice mechanics behind a lot of the role-playing games that grace my shelf. Two videos I'm recording this evening because, again, you all know I do these ones in pairs. This first video is one that I said I was going to do last, but I'm not. Is on Eoris Essence. This is, again, a beautiful book, beautiful box set. A lot of wolves in the artwork. It's a Colombian role-playing game. Okay, got turned onto this by the character sheets. Got quickly turned off by the writing style and sold my copy. Then I bought another copy because I think you can still get it for those like 50 or 60 quid. If you buy games just to collect them and have them on the shelf, go for it. Style wise, it kind of, if I said JRPG, Japanese console RPG, it's got that kind of writing for those kind of cutscenes. They're kind of misty, floaty, that sort of thing. And the character sheet has lots and lots of circles on it, and it's beautifully laid out. It's all landscape, and yeah, it goes. And it uses D20, or rather, lots of D20s. So as a character sheet with circles on it, you have a pool of 20-sided dice based on what you're doing. So stats plus skill gives you a pool of dice. And you're looking for 15s, a standard. The standard target or threshold is 15 for each dice. So basically you've got 1 in 4 for each one of them. Any task that you do will have a difficulty number, which is the required number of successes that you've got. So that's pretty straightforward. Roll a 20, it counts as 2 successes. Roll a 1 and it takes away another success. So you've got that scaling mechanic, not quite exploding dice, but crits per dice. You then have a series of STMs or success threshold modifier, which modifies the threshold that you want. So negatives are good because they reduce the 15 that you need to hit. So it's changing the difficulty number per dice, very similar to old World of Darkness. Yep. And then like a +3 penalty means that you need 18 per dice. It's not quite that bad because there's another rule that if you have more dice to roll than the dice roll limit, each additional dice counts as 1 automatic success. And the dice roll limit is 12, which means that on any action, 3, 6, 9, 12, you could be rolling 12d20. That's bonkers. The math is really, really simple, but the after effect of it. So if we're looking for 15s, there's goodness, you're going to spend ages for it. There's 4 successes. Oh, crikey! There's 4 successes. Okay, which is normally a fairly good hit. That's the dice and bolts of the game. The other thing that I will point out, I watch a sort of fairly influential guy does role-playing reviews, and one of his favorite sayings is tables are setting. You'll know who he is. The first table in the rule book, because the 2 books are divided, one of which is setting, and it's all prose, no crunch, and the other one is the rules. The first table in the rule book is the points and difficulty number to build your Omega Transcendance. So before it gets into character generation, it says, okay, you have an alpha, a beta, and a gamma transcendence, which is the same for everybody, and you have the Omega Transcendence, which is like a Final Fantasy style limit break. And this is like really flexible. And the first kind of mechanical thing, you get the dice rolling bit. The first mechanical thing about what your character can possibly do is this Omega Transcendence thing. Yeah, it is a bonkers game. You have mechs, you have vehicles. It's like a science fantasy, quite anima-ish. Yeah, quite similar to anima. A little bit less Western medieval than anima is. A little bit less steampunk. Yeah, so pool of stat plus skill pull up d20s. You're after 15s, but there are things that can modify that. That's the Dice and Bolts of Eoris Essence. I think it's still available on Drive-Thru RPG. Yes, 2 books, and there's a GM screen and a character set for it. Roll well, and I will see you around.